You know, the spoons and the forks that you use at restaurants, they've been inside the mouths of thousands of people before you, in case you're wondering. My name is Greg. He's Tom. It's your Saturday morning Stateline show. Good morning, buddy. I see you. Can you hear me? Check, check, check. I am not getting the volume that I normally get. All right, what's going on? Check 1 2, check, check, check. There we are. Now can you hear me? Tom, buddy. It's a technical difficulty morning, apparently. And let's restart the show. Hey, I'm Greg. He's Tom. Your Saturday morning Stateline show. It is the, what is it? The 12th day of November, the year 2022, the latest it has ever been in the history of mankind. And there's no way Tom's going to be able to hear me as he's getting ready to go back into his house. Tom's amazing. He's doing things that very few other human beings can do. So as he's getting set back up in his house, we'll get him on here in a minute. And we've got a great big show for you today here this week. We got a special guest, Myra Spielman, who's a neuropath over at Life Balance Medical Center up in Roscoe. They've got some special things coming up that we want to talk to her about. And I believe she's also tagged along a guest with her. So we'll introduce them to you here in just a minute. Our opening shout outs to, but Tom, I'm sorry if he's listening or not listening. It doesn't really matter because I got to get our big number of the week this week. Before I forget, our big number of the week this week is 424 million.
Right on!
And our answer this week is streets or snaps. Streets or snaps. We'll give you the answer by the end of the show. And at last check, Tom was way out in front, but Joann is charging back. It's now a score of 7-5 in our current race to 10. If you had all your money on Tom, you might be second guessing yourself right now because Joann's on her way back. He was up like what, 6-1 at some point, 5-1. Anyway, way to go, Joann. We'll have Joann Stewart on from PAWS Humane Society coming up in a little bit as well. As far as welcoming into the show today, welcome on in. We're glad you're here. Share your comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on YouTube. And also please follow us on Facebook at Saturday Morning Stateline. Next week, another great guest. We're going to have Josiah Shostrom on from City Studio talking about what the awesome new studio that's available to Rockford businesses and not-for-profits and such right here in the Rockford area. It's so exciting to see what this guy's been doing with his team, and I'm looking forward to having him on the show next week. As far as shout outs this week go, maybe I should bring Joann in now because Joann looks like she might be ready. Are you ready to jump in, Joann? I see you. She's like, yeah. If you want to bring me in, bring me in. I think my microphone was I think my microphone was being goofy at the beginning of the show. Can you hear me okay now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm trying to
show off your bowl of candy. You still got plenty of candy over there.
No, I'm trying to switch because it makes crazy to be mirrored.
Ah, there you go. All right. Well, Tom, instead
I wanted to be with the right hand.
There you go. Well, instead of doing our show from outside this morning, like Tom's been doing every other week, it's a little cold for that today. So he went in early to. Well, that it was a thought that may be a solution, but he said it still would wake people up in the house, and that's not going to work. So instead he went early, and he's already done, but he's still getting into his house to get settled in for the day. My shout outs this week, I don't have as long a list of shout outs this week as I have in weeks past. So I'll get to those right away with you instead of with Tom. So maybe you can throw in a comment or two if you wish.
I'll try.
We've had the PAWS Humane Society, the fur ball at the Radisson for a number of years now. We're not at this year. This year we're at somewhere else.
Tabala Tower.
This year's at Tabala. To the Tabala Shrine Center.
Tabala Towers was downtown.
So fur ball.
That's how long I've been in Rockford.
Yeah. So fur ball will be coming up right around Valentine's Day, the weekend right around Valentine's Day, 2023. And
I don't.
So
the problem
you're in there, Amara. You're there. I'm bringing you in soon. Don't hold. You just hold on.
Oh, we couldn't get any bigger. No.
This last weekend, I actually DJ'd a party for Dave and Lori Severson. Senator Severson and his wife Lori celebrated their first anniversary this last weekend, and they had it at the Radisson. They threw a 80s. She called it a second chance prom because she never got to go to her prom when she was in high school, and this was a throwback to 1989. All kinds of 80s stuff at the ballroom in the Radisson. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun. A lot of 80s music, old Pac-Man games, and just 80s stuff everywhere. So congratulations and happy birthday and happy anniversary, Lori and Dave. Want to give a shout out to Mr. Singh, an investment guy that I've been working with I've been working with him for about a year or so now. He had another closing on an investment property this week. Team sold on Tony Keller Williams Realty Signature, plugging along through this market shift that's been going on. I've been talking a little bit on this show and on my weekly market updates on my realtor page about the fact that, interest rates are up, but guess what that means? there's less competition right now among buyers. So the buyers that were bailing out of trying to buy a house over the summer because the competition was so fierce, that competition isn't so fierce anymore. So instead of having to compete with 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 other buyers on every house you wanted to try to buy, now you might only compete with 1 other buyer, maybe 2, depending on how the house is priced when it hits the market. So it's a great time to get back in the market if you bowed out earlier just because of the crazy competition in the housing market. So come on back and start shopping again for houses. It's a great time to buy. Our LinkedIn lunch yesterday at the Machine Shed was really nice. Want to give a shout out to Victoria Groff from Urbane Design Studio. Gave a great presentation on the stuff she does for residential and commercial designing, from cabinets and carpets and rugs and shades and everything else that she presented yesterday. She did a wonderful job doing that. If you were looking for someone to help you pick the right colors, pick the right patterns, pick the right blinds, that sort of things, Victoria Graff over there at the Urbane Design Studio would be a great choice to help you out with that. Also want to shout out to the Dairy Depot, Dairy Depot in Loves Park. If you're an ice cream lover like this guy right here, today's your last chance to pick up Dairy Depot ice cream. They're closing. They're open from 1 to 6 today, and then they're closed for the season. They were toying with the idea of staying open throughout the winter because they're building out. They I believe took over the space behind the Dairy Depot, so they were thinking of an indoor like a ice cream cafe thing going on, and I think they're still going to eventually do that. It just won't be ready for this winter, so they are shutting down for the season after today. So hey, if you want the grasshopper, if there's any left,
Yeah,
I got a couple.
I saw you with the grasshopper on Facebook. I said, that sounds good.
Oh yeah, love me some grasshopper. They do the twist and the other stuff too. So, but anyway, clean them out today of their ice cream because they're shutting down. They're open from 1 to 6 today, and then of course, Happy Veterans Day, one day late to all those who have served. I've told the story in the past about my dad serving in Vietnam and being a radio operator and being in Germany, which ended up being where I was born because my mom went to be with him while he was stationed part-time in Germany during the Vietnam War. And I don't know that I've shared this on this show before, but I shared it with some friends recently at a gathering that we had actually at work at Sold on Tony. We had we do a thing with our team where one of our members of our team has to share something that no one else knows about them. And I actually brought my birth certificate to the meeting to show off because it's a very unique birth certificate. It's not your typical county of, state of birth certificate. I was born in Germany, so my birth certificate was issued by the Department of State. It looks very different than any other birth certificate that my kids have. So I thought that would be kind of interesting, and everyone thought that was pretty cool. So anywho,
my niece was born in Germany, kind of under the same circumstances, because her father was stationed in Germany at the time. So we always talk about her dual citizenship.
The one thing I haven't completely figured out yet, which I always assume this, but I never have confirmed it, if I was actually born in a German hospital or was I born at on the base.
Oh,
where they were stationed. I'm not exactly sure. That might make a difference to whether or not I can run for president later. So I got to figure that out.
Okay.
You know, you have to be born on American soil, so that would be on the base, not just, I don't know.
Oh,
because my birth certificate was issued by the Department of State, I think I'm okay, but I don't know. We'll see. Hey, I think Tom's back in. Are you there, buddy? Hey, buddy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know what happened on the phone thing. All of a sudden, I could not hear you.
Well, I tried to set you up, and because I think my microphone wasn't working at the beginning of the show, my opening quote was really gross. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
Yeah, we want to start the day with something gross. The spoons and the forks that you use at restaurants, they've been in the mouths of thousands of people before you.
Yeah.
Should you bring your own cutlery?
Well, that's no worse than the gum I pick up off the floor and chew.
Oh, there we go. There we
You
go.
know, I mean, it's been in
Well, that
someone's
should have
mouth
only been
before.
one person's mouth, though.
Oh,
Yeah, well, maybe there may be others like me out there. Who knows?
well, before
Maybe
we get
the
to our
same piece
guests,
of gum
That's
has
even
traveled.
grosser than the cutlery.
before we get to our guests, if we haven't grossed them out already, one last shout out for the day. Go Harlem! We're all
Yeah.
Harlem Huskies today in Northern Illinois.
Nice.
One of the local teams that has made it to round 3. This is the first time in Harlem high school football history that they've made it to round 3 of the football playoffs. And they get to host. They are hosting Park Ridge today. The football field, it looks like this. It's a beautiful place to play football. The gear up kickoff, I think, is at like 5:10. I think 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Wait a minute. Where is that? There were no stands there.
Look behind. Yeah, the top part. The top part of the screen is where.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we're looking at it. I'm thinking the park. Okay,
the
all right.
school is to the up.
It is on top of the stand.
Yeah, you are
To the
looking west as this helicopter
Right.
or drone takes this photo. You're looking west.
Right. That is a nice looking field.
Isn't that a beautiful stadium? So Harlem Huskies, round 3 of the football playoffs. Let's go Huskies.
What time did you say this?
The 5 o'clock game. The guys, the folks over at Windsor Pizza Parlor, they're throwing a big tailgate party. I think it's from 1 to 4 or noon to 4, 1 to 4.
Yeah, wow.
All afternoon. They've got a lot to the west of their restaurant that they're going to have tents up and doing their pizza thing and whatever else tailgate fun that they're doing to get the crowd ready for the big football game tonight in McChesney Park. That's the Harlem Huskies.
Want to go see it? You and me?
I'm already, my wife's a teacher there, so we've got tickets. We're already going.
Good.
Is there tickets still available? I have no clue.
I'll just wear my ROK gear and I'll get in for free.
Bring a clipboard and a lanyard. You can get anywhere you want to go with a
That's
clipboard.
right.
And a lanyard.
That's right. I shouldn't have said that on the air, huh?
Yeah.
Look, have my picture up. If you see this guy, kick him out.
There you go. All right, Joann. Hey, you stand by. We're going to bring in our guests, and I know if I leave you on the screen, it's going to be way too crazy busy. So you stand by over there. Pause. And over at are you in Roscoe, Amira?
Life Balance Medical Center, yes, is in Roscoe, Illinois, but I'm in Rockford, so
you're at home this morning in Rockford, and
yes, I am.
You have brought somebody with you who I don't know who this is, but he looks like he's ready to talk with us today.
Yep, this is Brian Arn. This is our medical director.
Hello, I'm Brian. I'm one of the owners.
Brian.
I'm actually at the office right now.
Awesome. Let's see. Is this going to look better? Yeah, that'll look better. There we go. Thank you. So we'll love this Restream platform. It gives me a lot of different options, and sometimes I got to play with it a little bit to figure out what works best. I did download your logo. I want to splash that up there, Life Balance Medical Center. And you guys have been in business now for how long?
We've been around for about 20 years, a little over 20 years now.
In the same location?
No, we've been in Roscoe the entire time,
okay.
But we have this is our fourth location.
Okay, so you've grown, and then you've grown, and you've grown some more.
Yeah, basically.
Nice, good for you. And what prompted you to start this clinic in the first place? What got you into chiropractic and stuff?
Well, I'm not actually the chiropractor. My wife, Dr. Alicia Arn, is the chiropractor.
Okay.
She started over there as real basic, just chiropractic only. And one of the things that they found was can't quite help everything that she learned in school that it could help. So we have slowly added and added and added. We've brought in different technologies using different nutrition. Now as a general rule, we can help just about anything anymore. 3 years ago, we medically integrated, which means we have a mid-level provider, a nurse practitioner on staff full time.
Okay.
So we can work as long as it's not an emergency. That's what I always tell everybody. As long as it's not an emergency, come see us.
You're not there to stitch up the guy who just wiped out on his motorcycle or nothing.
No, not so much.
That's not for you guys. But other stuff, and kind of what sparked the interest when I'm talking with Amira at LinkedIn lunch a couple of months ago. My wife had lost her sense of smell and taste from COVID 2 years ago, and she still hadn't got it back yet. And she was on the verge of scheduling something with you guys to see if something with a neuropath solution might be needed for her. And just last weekend, something happened to her where she's now starting to get her smell and taste back. Actually, like an illness. We all kind of got this sickness. We all kind of got this congestion crap that's been going around the last couple of weeks. My daughter got it, and she's gracefully shared it with me, and I shared it with the wife, and we all kind of got sick last weekend, and I'm still recovering from that. But it seems that an illness has cured my wife. So we didn't go in that direction, but that was one of the reasons that I started talking with Amira about what you guys do. And neuropath, tell me a little bit more about what a neuropath is.
Did you want to get that, Brian? Or did you want me to?
That was all you, girl.
Oh, okay. Well, so from a chiropractic standpoint, even though I'm not a chiropractor, but I'm just going to speak on behalf of Dr. Arn. So our brain to the rest of our body connection runs on our spinal cord, which has all of our neural pathways that connects to the rest of our body, whether it's skeletal or organ. So when there's a disruption in that path, that's what causes either a delay in healing time or a delay in communication. So that's why it's really important to not just, see your chiropractor on a regular basis, but also, cover all aspects of your wellness. We have to make sure that we can maintain, proper nutrition, reduce our inflammation, make sure we're doing everything we can to reduce our stress, make sure we're getting proper sleep, and all of the above to make sure that, we're keeping our wellness at an optimal level. So that's why I always say, like, it's not always going to be one thing. There's going to be different factors of wellness. It's going to keep you from either getting sick or getting hurt, and all of those things. So that's why it's very important that we try to tell people that we're an integrative practice. So health is kind of like a combination lock. There's not always going to be one thing that's going to take care of everything. It's going to be multiple factors. So it's kind of neat because we're a very multidimensional practice.
Okay. And you mentioned diet. I mean, the American diet. The American diet is full of stuff that causes us inflammation, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the standard American diet doesn't really talk about how individual, like customized nutrition should be applied per person. I feel like we live in such a social media driven society that if we see something that worked for somebody else, so we assume that's going to work for us. Right. When in reality, everyone's diet should be customized based on, what they're sensitive to, if they've got allergies, their work life, their home life, even their upbringing, what their body's been programmed to like and dislike, really.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most frustrating things about these last couple of years of, well, the whole attack of from COVID is just blanket statements about everything when it's like, wait a minute, there are totally, everyone's different, not just age, but cultures, the things that we different eat, whatever. And everything was, no, everyone should do this. No, I'm not a doctor, and even I know that's stupid. It was really frustrating, and we've had that discussion off and on over the last couple of years about all this COVID stuff. But neuropathy, I guess I don't think of diet when I think of neuropathy. I was thinking of other type of things, but it's very all-encompassing, isn't it? You got a lot on your plate.
Yes.
Figuratively and speaking, and literally.
Oh yes. So, I mean, if you want to touch base on neuropathy, that's a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Neuropathy, actually, they figured that out back in World War II, when the prisoners of war, they weren't fed properly, so their bodies literally just started falling apart, and your nerves in your body says, I have to protect the core, from here down. And your legs literally stop getting feeling. They hurt, and then eventually it gets to your hands, and eventually it'll finally get to the entire body. It will long-term kill you. But yeah, it's all based on, and not many people actually understand that neuropathy is actually caused by poor nutrition. If you
Okay.
can start eating better, and then Amira can touch on this even better than I can. If you start eating better, a lot of times you can reverse it just by diet.
Okay. So what does the typical patient look like for you, Amira, that comes to visit you up at Life Balance?
Well, so we have two sides of our practice. We have our chiropractic side with Dr. Alicia Arnn, and then we have the functional medicine side where we do everything from, what we touched before, regenerative medicine, nutrition. We do laser therapy. We do FSM, which stands for frequency specific microcurrent therapy, which we'll touch base on that in a little bit. But again, we do everything pretty multifunctional. When a patient usually comes to our practice, they usually have some sort of disease or illness, or even they're just not feeling, up to par with what they used to. Their baseline is no longer there, whether they have some kind of GI issue, respiratory issue, hormones, pain. We try to, figure out what it is that's causing that. We don't try to, put a blanket statement on everything and say, oh, well, just fix this and that'll take care of everything. We want to make sure we identify the root cause first, and we do that by way of doing tests. So we do blood work. We do have a nurse practitioner on hand. Her name is Landra Caldwell. She does all of our blood work, and our group kind of evaluates this and see if there are any deficiencies, if there are any red markers that are showing that, this patient's either high on something or is deficient on something. And sometimes, actually most of the time, we can identify the root cause just by reading their blood work. So, I mean, our blood work doesn't lie. That's kind of the,
Right.
the theme is that, you can say you feel great. You can say you're not feeling something here, but when your blood work comes up and it says that, your kidneys aren't functioning properly, your cholesterol is too high, your blood sugar is too high, your A1C is too high. All of those kind of tell us a story. And then once we put the pieces together, then it's like, aha, it's like
Right.
there's more than one thing that's going on right now, but let's start with this and then work our way from there.
It's amazing what you can figure out when you find out someone is either high or low in iron. I mean, just
Oh, this would be, I'm going to pass that on to Brian, because Brian has,
yeah,
he
well,
passes that almost 9 out of 10 times. Go ahead, Brian.
yeah,
Well, if any individual particular marker, we don't, as a general rule, don't care about the individual markers as much. It's the combination, because they show a pattern. And when you see those patterns, that's where you actually start figuring out the root cause. Just iron being off, yeah, that's a big deal, but it's not as big a deal as a lot of people think. But when you see iron's off and the cholesterol a lot of times is too low, or the A1Cs are high, and then you'll see problems around the kidney markers, there's probably GI problems. I mean, I could talk for hours about the blood work stuff,
Right.
but it's all based on what the patterns show. And then we develop a program of how to get your body back to health, functioning properly again.
So I guess as a kind of to wrap this all up, the people that you see on a generally speaking basis, the majority of the people that you see, backaches, headaches, looking for some sort of solution other than surgical, is that kind of what encompasses what you see the most at your clinic?
That's probably about 50%.
Okay.
We do get a lot of people that come in just for pain, but we get people coming in because, hey, I have diabetes. Hey, I have an autoimmune disorder like Hashimoto's or fibromyalgia or lupus or Crohn's or something like that. And then we help develop a plan to allow their body to repair itself. Any doctor that says, I can fix you, you should run the other way. Your body has to do all the work. What we do is really give your body the resources, or get something out of the way of your body and allow it to just start fixing itself. That's the only long-term way to heal.
I'm sorry. I actually have one quick question.
Yeah.
Could you detect behavior issues? Could behavior issues, like, I know kids are all sugared up and they're a little rambunctious and such, but some of them are a little bit over the top. And you know what, just to say, give him Ritalin. He's ADHD. He's this, he's that. Could you detect behavior issues, but could you deal with those?
Yes. So the short answer is, more often than not, there is some kind of chemical issue. Not always, but there's usually some type of chemical issue causing the problem, which develops into ADD, ADHD, or you pick the acronym.
Right.
If you start working on it and rebalancing the body, I've seen some amazing results with kids and even adults. So
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of throw pills at the problem.
No.
It just doesn't, to me, I don't like that idea. There's
That's one
always,
of the things I'm most proud of. My daughter has 3 sons, and her oldest, he's quite the handful, and she's taken that on through more of diet rather than pills, and I've been really proud of her for trying to find that right balance of what he should be eating and not be eating, and it's been I think a lot healthier for the long run, for the long term of his lifetime health, because of the way she's handled that. I want to make sure we share a couple of things you guys got coming up, and if my share screen works properly, we can show that you guys have something special coming up with a big food drive. You're not gonna be able to read it because the print's too small. I'll be sure to share this on our Facebook page here today. Thanksgiving Day food drive is running through November 23rd. You guys are collecting canned veggies and such.
We're collecting non-perishable foods. Everything will be donated to Central Christian Church in Beloit. I've been there a few times, and they have quite the food pantry, and they give out food. I don't know how many people they feed on a weekly basis. It's pretty amazing what they're doing. And what we're offering is you can come in, become a new patient, and all it's going to cost you is a bag of food. Awesome. That gets your initial exam and first adjustment.
So today's the 12th, so you still got 11 days to take advantage of the Thanksgiving Day food drive up at Life Balance. And then coming up on Monday, December 12th, or through Monday, December 12th, the big holiday toy drive.
Yes, we're also collecting toys for Toys for Tots. We do this every year. We just try to get as many as we can. We get patients. We get people that don't even come see us. We'll just stop in and drop off toys too. So.
And this is the big thing that's done every year through the United States Marine Corps.
That's correct.
They do this every year and partner with so many local businesses. Yours is one of the great drop-off points up there in Roscoe through Monday, December 12th. A new or gently used unwrapped toy, because they want to wrap them themselves, right? It's actually
supposed to be all new. She accidentally left the gently used. It's supposed to be all brand new toys.
Well, you make the mistake and break something gently used, it's probably going to get donated to the Salvation Army or something like that. But
exactly.
Please bring a new.
All brand new toys is ideally what we're looking for, and they do such great things. You should see these kids when they get this stuff.
Yeah, they really do. Well, anything that we didn't ask you guys about that you want to make sure we shared before we let you go today?
Oh, there's just way too much to talk about.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, I'm like, 60 seconds. I wanted to chime in and kind of give Lord Tom a
Greg, you got to take that off of there, please.
His wife bought him land in Scotland, so he's a lord.
Oh, yeah. Wow. How prestigious your man. Anyways, no.
Wow.
Let's see, about 8-9 years ago, when my daughter Joey, who's now 14, when she started gymnastics, I was a new parent too. I mean, I get it. There were times where I would allow, television or a tablet or my phone to, parent my kid while I'm doing something else. And I always blamed
that. Yeah.
And I always blamed like technology to be why she behaved the way she did in gymnastics. For the longest time, her gymnastics instructor at that time would say, you know what, I had to pull Joey aside again because she just had, way too much ants in her pants and she couldn't listen. She couldn't focus. Yeah. And she actually pulled me and my ex-husband aside and said, I think it's time we need to address that she might have a behavioral issue and to get her checked out for, ADD and ADHD, like Brian said. And I'm like, well, one, let's not kind of jump into that conclusion right away. She was at that time, 4 years old, I think 5. And so I sought after, some of our friends that are in the medical field. And my ex-cousin-in-law is a speech pathologist for Northwestern University. And she actually implemented a gluten-free diet with her child, because I guess her child was having the same issues with her sport. And I didn't think nothing of it as far as a behavioral issue. I've always known of gluten being problematic for GI problems, but not neuro health. So once we started eliminating most of her sugars and her gluten, and just kind of started, giving her more nutrient dense foods and organic, and just kind of keeping her away from Pop-Tarts and Cheez-Its and hot dogs and just the junk that we tend to feed our kids.
Yeah, that's half my diet, by the way.
I mean, it was night and day. I kid you not. After I think 4 weeks, it was night and day, to the point where we got pulled aside again about 30 days later and were asked if she's now on medication.
Oh, wow.
Her response was just instant, all because we just adjusted a diet, did our research, and it improved her behavior. And now she's one of the top 100 in the country out of the 4 million gymnasts in the United States. She's ranked 78th. So it just goes to show that I think it's important that early intervention when it comes to these types of, illnesses, they call it, is important. And I think it should start with the baseline, which is what we put in our mouths. So especially for the younger kids, because I think we're just so used to, here, take this, here, take that. And oh yeah, don't forget the Cheetos, somebody wrote.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all guilty of it. I get it, but yeah, I think your daughter that's changing up the nutrition. That's a huge win for anybody that's wanting to make those nutritional changes for their families.
My 7-year-old grandson, who will be over, they come over about 1 or 2 today. They love their video games. I get it. It's kind of the thing that everybody does now. They also like their junk food. We're grandma and grandpa. We're not mom and dad. And I'm not saying anything bad against my son and my daughter-in-law. They're wonderful parents. But I notice that Dominic gets a little rambunctious. And so I'm gonna try to work on this thing. Say, hey guys, let's try to eliminate this, the Cheetos, the Pop-Tarts, and
Baby carrots look like Cheetos.
I really, really appreciate hearing that, because I've said this for a long time. It seems like there's a better solution other than pills. When I was, just a real quick story for me, I was about 4 or 5, kindergarten or whatever. My mom put me on some pill, probably Ritalin. I don't know. I'm a little older than you think. So Ritalin, it may have been the precursor to Ritalin.
Whatever that was.
I don't know if it helped or I don't know if it hurt. I don't know what. But I know that it made me very lethargic. I know that. So it's probably not a good thing. But back in the late 60s, early 70s, what else did we have,
Well, if anyone has any questions for you guys, what is usually the best way to reach out to you at Life Balance?
You can call us at 815-623-1013. You can email me directly if you have questions. You can send it to ARN, B as in boy, at lifebalancemc.net. I always check my emails on a regular basis. You can text us.
ARNB at Life Balance MC.
Yep. It stands for Life Balance Medical Center. .net.
.net. Okay.
Yep.
Switch that. I'll put that in the chat.
I see why you didn't put the B in front of the ARN.
Most people don't catch that. As a kid, I had to say I got a little abused about that. So I always make mine R&B.
There's worse things. There's definitely worse things.
It's my favorite kind of music too, by the way.
Too funny.
All right. Well,
you're all week, and
I hope we've made your weekend a little brighter and given you something to share with some clients and friends through social media and such. Thanks for coming on. Try to make it to the next LinkedIn lunch. Second Friday of December, we'll be at Machine Shed again from 11:30 to 1. And I don't know who's presenting in December, but it might be me. Who knows? Come on out and have lunch with us at Machine Shed from 11:30 to 1, second Friday of every month. All right, guys, have a great weekend.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for the information. That was awesome.
We will post the pictures there online with the flyers that they sent over for the toy drive and the food drive that are coming up. So the food drive is happening right now through the next 11 days, and then the toy drive through December, I think it was 12th, if I remember right. Anyway, Let's get things over to our friend at PAWS. Joann is over there. Good morning, friend. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm back.
You're back. We're back on screen. We're ready to do all things PAWS for a while. And we want to take a little tour of PAWS today.
Is it that time already? Boy,
You know what? I normally do a bunch of stuff first, don't I?
time flies while you're having fun.
Let's do the random
Were
stuff
you
first.
switching?
Did you do the big number?
I did.
Yeah, I already won.
Neither one of you were on when I did the big number because it was a goofy start to the show
Oh,
today.
come
Do
on.
you want to do it again so I can write it
Just tell
down?
them I already won.
I gotta know which one to Google.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's do the big number again. Big number of the week. Yeah. Let's do the video too. How about that? Yeah, because it's so much fun because I spent time on this thing. You're rawr. All right. Big number of the week this week is 424 million. 424 million. And the answer is streets or snaps. Streets or snaps. Where'd it go? There it is. Here's the graphic. 424 million. Streets or snaps. Joann and Tom will figure out what their answers are. We'll give you the answer at the end of the show. And put your guess in the comments for bragging rights for the week. How about that? What's a random thing that reveals a lot about a person? For example, how they act when things don't go their way. You get a flat tire or something like that. That's a kind of a random thing that reveals a lot about a person, right? How they problem solve. What people say about other people when that person's not around. Whether or not
Are they constantly late to something that's not related to them going to work, something that doesn't have, like for instance, to your birthday party, they're late, to a dinner date, they're late. But if it's something that relates to them, like work or whatever, they're right on time every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
timing.
a big telltale sign.
When you give someone a question and they don't know the answer, how they respond to not knowing the answer to a question, that seems to tell a lot about a person. Anyway, what's a random thing that reveals a lot about a person? That's some of the things the internet sharers came up with. The internet's most vulnerable place, the internet as a whole, the most vulnerable place you would think would be the server farms in Silicon Valley, right? But according to Wired magazine, it's a 100-mile stretch of Egypt where the subsea cables running from the Red Sea briefly come up for air before plunging into the Mediterranean. It's about a 100-mile stretch. This is kind of interesting. It's estimated about 17% of all the world's internet traffic passes through that stretch of cables.
Wow.
Wired magazine calls it one of the world's largest internet choke points. I got a feeling that most of that 17% is probably just, European and Asian, Middle Eastern type information traffic, but it's still kind of a wild thought to think 17% of all internet traffic goes through that one stretch of 100-mile cables between the Red Sea and the Mediterranean. Randoms this week. All right, a study found fast food breakfast sandwiches quickly have a negative effect on your body. Within 2 hours of eating one of those fat-laden sandwiches, test subjects saw their blood flow slow down 15 to 20%. I think our Life Balance Medical Center folks would agree with that. That's, probably not the best thing to have for breakfast. Maybe for lunch, not for breakfast.
Probably not ever.
Probably not ever. The tattoo market in the United States. Any idea how much the tattoo market in the United States is worth as a whole?
400 billion.
Ooh, you shot a little high, but you got the B right.
5 billion.
It's a $1.4 billion market in the U.S. The tattoo market. Yeah, it's gotten really popular. The company Apple reportedly expects to make about 3 million fewer iPhone 14s this year than it initially planned, partially because of weakening demand. Is demand for iPhones weakening because more people are switching to Androids, or are they holding on to their older iPhones longer? Probably a combination of the two. I would think people are, because they're expensive. I mean, shoot, you spend $1,200 on a phone, you don't want to just change it in every couple of years, right? We talked about this on the show, I think, more than once. The fact that we can't have the Philadelphia Phillies win the World Series because that would mean economic collapse. Good news. The Astros won the World Series, everybody.
Yeah, Dusty Baker finally got his crown.
Yes, recession averted, and Dusty Baker a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame now, as if he wasn't before. But Houston Astros beat the Philadelphia Phillies and won the World Series last Saturday night. The most reliable recession indicator we have had in the last 100 years has been the Philadelphia-based team winning a major sports. Well, the Phillies winning the World Series.
If we have a recession, who do we blame?
If we have a recession, who do we blame? It's a good question.
How about the
Anheuser-Busch became the first Fortune 500 company to buy a Major League pickleball team.
Oh, jeez.
If you haven't been paying attention, pickleball is becoming a huge thing. Huge. I'm still kind of perplexed. I haven't played that game yet. I was a tennis player. I love table tennis as well. Why haven't I played pickleball yet? I don't know.
Afraid of hurting the pickle.
Don't hurt the pickle. Forbes released an interesting list here in the last week. The top 13 earning dead celebrities. They do this, I think, every year about this time.
Okay, Elvis has got to be on the top, at least up near the top.
Elvis is still up there. The number I almost used as the big number of the week this week, but I didn't. Collectively, the top 13 top earning dead celebrities earned $1.6 billion in the last year. That's up 72% from last year.
Wow.
Holy cow. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, there's a lot of money in dead celebrities.
Yeah.
And finally, the holiday season officially began because Lindsay Lohan's Christmas movie, Falling for Christmas, has arrived on Netflix. Lindsay Lohan's first starring role in a film since 2013. And I got to say, if it doesn't end in some kind of dramatic race through an airport on Christmas Eve to tell a guy she met a week ago that she loves him, then I think you're going to have to fight somebody.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your randoms for this week. Oh, and also we didn't win the $2.04 billion Powerball jackpot this last week.
Did anybody win it?
Some guy in California. Yeah, a guy in California bought a ticket at Joe's Service Center in Altadena, California. The lump sum payout will be $997 million. Oh, and he bought it at a convenience store owned by an NFL player's dad.
Wow. So wait a minute. 997 million. That's not even a billion, and it's 2.8 billion or 2.6 or 5.
2.04 billion Powerball jackpot.
Okay, so 2 billion. So he's losing $1 billion.
If
they would spend you that much money, would you complain?
No, that's not the point. The point is, it might as well just be called 50-50, like at a football game. Unbelievable.
Taxes.
At 50% taxes is unbelievable.
It is.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know.
It is ridiculous, but it is what it is, and this guy's going to be basically a billionaire.
He's going to have more money than we do.
I'd hold out. I'd say, give me at least $1 billion, make it $1 billion. And
all right. Now let's take our tour around PAWS. What do you say?
Now we're ready.
Now we're all set.
I just got the weather report. It's actually snowing outside.
Are we getting some snow here?
It was supposed to be some snow.
That's some football weather. Go Harlem!
All right, Greg. I'm planning on coming out there tonight.
All right,
I
let's get something a little bit.
got a new dog this week. So I don't know. His name is Ozzy, and he's 7 years old and a real sweetheart. Wow. Here's someone who wants to talk on the show.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful cat.
Oh, now he is. See, he is. I guess she didn't want it. She has a lot to talk. She's going to rant like Tom.
Oh, wow.
Her name is Apollo. Apollo.
Hello, Apollo. You rule the cage.
I don't know. My camera seems off today. But she's still talking. We all have to listen. Poor thing. I was going to say, I thought Frederick got adopted. He's like one favorite Krabby Kitty.
Yeah, Krabby Cat. Somebody's got
He's
to take care of
talking
Frederick.
too. You guys must be slow on feeding today. Everyone's complaining. Here's Sunny. A girl.
Well,
Sunny.
All of our brains got shifted because of the time change last weekend, so there's still that.
I think it was the temperature more than the time change.
Oh, right. No, ugh.
I believe that.
Thursday was so nice.
I got out of trivia Thursday night, and it was 73
He's a
degrees.
sweet little face.
And this was like 9:30, quarter to 10.
That was awesome.
Well, he's still talking. I guess he didn't get his rant done. They're all talking today.
I think they're hungry.
Like, quit showing our faces and feed them. I'm sure
We're usually looking at them post feeding, so this is a new
I
thing.
don't know why we're running late.
Is this a brother and sister, or brother, sister?
Yeah, a bonded pair. That's Daphne and is this Velma?
Velma,
So they're
yeah.
little girls. They're from
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. Beautiful cats. I like that black and white, very striking. And there's the community cage. Someone left a mess, kind of like my granddaughter's living room. I don't know how many cats are in here. 1, 2, 3, 5 cats today. And all getting on. And here's the other community.
If you want to graduate to the community room.
What?
Said you got to
They're
get
all
along
smart.
if you want to graduate to the community room.
Yeah, everybody get along.
I think that's a good, if you're going to adopt a cat when you already have cats, a cat from the community room is a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know they already get along with other cats. Maybe not your cat, but
It takes about 2 weeks or so, 2 weeks to a month for animals to integrate. That's been my experience.
there's like, and there's the candy. There's I have read somewhere I think you're close. 3 weeks. Takes a while. You can't expect it to happen overnight. In my house, it usually happens instantly, but I don't know why. You got a new dog home.
You just got the vibe. You got the vibe where everyone's welcome. 815-299-PAWS is the number to call if you got any questions for PAWS Humane Society. 815-299-7297 or visit pawshs.org. And
our Facebook page always, I can stop at the sign. I'm sorry, I missed the sign where what was adopted. But our Facebook page always shows who's adopted and who's available. It's a good place to check out.
I agree. I agree, Linda. I agree 100%.
Linda throwing down cats and candy. Maybe we should change the name of the show.
Cats and
Cats
candy.
and candy,
We
yeah,
used to call it the Saturday Morning Stateline Show, but now we're just called Cats and Candy.
that's right.
Yeah, I just sitting here thinking about that at the moment right now. I know for sure we'd have more viewers around the world if we changed the name of the show to Cats and Candy.
Yeah. Hey, this reminds me of a trivia question. Joann, you might know this. You probably would. Which of these two do cats not describe a cat? Taste of. All right, I don't remember how it was worded. Cats cannot taste the difference between sweet or sour. Which one?
Is it true
What
that
it
cats?
is which of these two is not true of a cat? They can taste sweet or they can taste sour. Which one can they not taste?
I'd say
I
sweet.
think I've heard that before. Is this a point? We get a point?
No, I don't know. No, that's up to Greg. No, no points because I don't get a chance at a point.
If I had, I would guess it's sweet.
I
It's
was
sweet.
gonna get sour.
No, it's sweet. They can taste sour, but they can't taste sweet. They don't have sweet receptors or whatever. I don't know. I should have just grabbed the question and read it the way it was written, but anyway, I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting because they say cat food is sweeter than dog food.
Oh yeah,
For
maybe not in that sense. So, like if you give them a piece of chocolate, they're not going to taste it as sweet. It's just like a piece of cardboard.
oh,
Carlos Danger got it right.
Way to go, Carlos.
Need no stinking badges.
Well, hey, I wanted to give a couple of other quickie little shout outs here. The Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum, starting on the 15th of this month. The cottage will be all decorated for Christmas. They've been closed up until yesterday officially, getting ready for Christmas stuff, I believe. And then the 15th, they start with their Christmas decorated cottage for Christmas all over there at Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. The Landscape Connection, which is hosting that big fundraiser December 7th with the in crowd. Next weekend has their Christmas open house, November 18th, 19th, and 20th at Landscape Connection. Kick off the holiday season with workshops and door prizes and appetizer demos and all kinds of stuff at Landscape Connection on South Mulford Road in Rockford. And if I didn't share, I don't remember if I shared this last week on the show or not. I know I shared it with Tom off the air, but we got a card for Representative Joe Sosnowski,
Oh yeah.
who thanked us, specifically Tom, for DJing out there at the event that they held for the Kids Bike and Fitness Day at Midway Village Museum Center, where they raised $1,500 that they distributed between the two charities that they had out there that day. So Rockford Rescue Mission and the Pregnancy Care Center were out there for that big event. And Representative Sosnowski, good job. And Grace Soltis, very good job on organizing that. All back in July, right? That was back in July.
That was a good time. Yes, it was July.
That was good.
Good time.
All right, let's do this. Big number of the week. Our big number of the week, 424 million. The answer is streets or snaps. Streets or snaps. And at last check, Tom was leading now by a much narrower margin than he was before on our race to 10, up 7-5. So streets or snaps is the question. Give me your answer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Google says snaps.
Did you say snaps too, Joann?
I think
Yes.
we both said snaps.
You both said snaps. All right. Well,
In my Google search.
that's what came up.
No.
you know, I want you to do a Google search. Did you actually do one during the show?
No, I don't ever. I'm just
All right.
messing with Joann. She
Well,
accuses me of it.
I did not.
Not anymore.
Let's see. Carlos is saying snaps. Thank you, Carlos.
You would see us anyhow. We'd be at our phone like this.
Tinkle Swiss. Wow.
So, yeah, New York City has over 315,000 streetlights. I thought that was a pretty interesting big number this week. But when it comes to snaps, yeah, Shutterstock has one of the biggest names in stock photography, a database of more than 424 million snaps, images, over 27 million video clips. As of September, the company reported more than 600,000 paying subscribers. Their revenue last year exceeded $773 million. What a business. And anyone who's ever put together a flyer or some kind of advertisement where they needed stock photos, Shutterstock has kind of been the place to go. It's kind of the first place you think of to get generic pictures of people and things. So there you go. Congratulations. We are now at a score of 8-6 in our current race to 10. All right. The only thing I think I missed today is I normally go to GoRockford.com to see what's going on, and I haven't done that yet. So I'm taking a quick look right now at GoRockford.com. Tonight at Coronado Performing Arts Center, they got that Rockford Symphony Orchestra. They've been auditioning new conductors and stuff over the last few months. Tonight, I think, is the last one. They've auditioned like 8 of them, like 8 or 9 different conductors. It's been something else. That's tonight at Coronado.
Why don't we just keep Steven Larson? Hey, I'm double.
If only he didn't want to retire.
Yeah, doggone him. Want to retire and enjoy life. Man.
Come on, man. And then over at Redeemer Church today in Loves Park, they have their Christmas market, Purchase with a Purpose, under a heated tent. Their Christmas market gathers items made by artisans locally and from around the world. Leather goods, soaps, candles, ornaments, pottery, purses, apparel, jewelry, all kinds of different things. Artisans paid a fair wage and able to keep their families together, given the hope of the gospel. There will also be gourmet coffee, cocoa, cider, popcorn, and more. This is at Redeemer Church, 5501 Windsor Road, from 9 to 3 today. Admission absolutely free. Bring some cash, make some purchases, and purchase with a purpose at the Christmas market there. And then, of course, go Harlem Huskies! Harlem football at Harlem High School, 5 o'clock.
Sounds like a good time. Sounds cold. I might actually wear pants. I'm wearing shorts right now. I've been out in the weather earlier.
Well, kudos to you. I'm
Good
in pants.
prediction. Green Bay, Dallas today.
So Green Bay and Dallas play tomorrow in the afternoon, the second game, the game of the week, right? The
Tomorrow, of course.
Game of the week, which probably means
The cold never bothered him anyway.
No.
I hate to say this, Tom. I'm predicting a 31-13 defeat to the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow. I hope I'm wrong.
26-24 Green Bay. Last second field goal by Mason Crosby. I know I was way off the Buffalo one. I know I always pick the Packers, but I'm going to justify it by saying Aaron Rodgers has the world looking at him thinking, what's wrong with Aaron Rodgers? Now he's going up against the Cowboys, he's going up against Mike McCarthy, the one coach he really didn't get along with that well. I think you're going to see the Packers turn it around. It's just what I think. Maybe I'll get off my high horse next week.
From your lips to God's ears, Tom.
That's right. That's right. The 5-game skid ends tomorrow. I don't know why I think it's Sunday all of a sudden.
I don't know. Well, friends, hey, remember you change the world when you help one person. So, you know what? Be a blessing to someone today. We'll do the same. Meet you back here next week for another Saturday morning Stateline show from an undisclosed location. I'm excited about next week's show. I hope it works.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Just a warning. All right, guys. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Joann.